The plans by the UK government to cut down net migration is no longer news. Some of these plans affect international students, such as the ban on international students coming into the country with dependents as from next year 2024. More recently is that international students can no longer switch to a skilled worker visa or any other visa until the completion of their studies. This latter news was considered by many as a bad news, but contrary to that, I don't think it's entirely a bad news. In this video, I will be sharing with you the best way to switch from a student visa to a skilled worker visa or any other visa category, even with this recent government announcement. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, I'm Intentional Favor. Please consider subscribing. Also turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos. And to all my amazing returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. Switching from a student visa to a skilled worker visa or any other visa category, including this post-study work visa, is nothing new. As a matter of fact, that's the only way you can legally remain in the country after the completion of your studies. However, when the UK government made this announcement that students can no longer switch until they complete their studies, some people considered it a bad news, thinking that it's an attempt by the UK government to limit them or limit their chances of getting a job and to switch to skilled worker visa. Many people were of the opinion that the reason for this is that they want to increase the chances of students using the 2 years post-study visa, which is expensive when you compare it to switching to a skilled worker visa. But I am here in this video to debunk that and to, of course, explain to you the best way that you can switch so that you have it at the back of your mind and take the necessary steps as and when due. In 2021-2022, there was a hype in the number of students that switched from student visa to a skilled worker visa even before the completion of their program. Many people, once they come into the country and they start working, and then maybe they were opportune, especially after the introduction of the health and care visa, so many companies were given license to sponsor visa. So most students then, when they come in, what they do is to get a sponsorship or get a job that can with a licensed sponsor, and then when they are happy to sponsor them, they switch immediately to a skilled worker visa and then they abandon their studies. Some people also continue with their studies, and some people just leave out their studies and they just continue with like their skilled worker visa. So that happened a lot. As a matter of fact, I made a video last year on this subject, switching from a student visa to a skilled worker visa or from a dependent visa to a skilled worker visa. And of course, during that time, I carried out research. I spoke to many students who did this, and I confirmed that many students were doing it. And as at then, it was totally acceptable until recently when the government now said it's no longer possible. Before you can switch, you have to complete your studies. Some people perceive this as a bad news, which I don't think it is, because I used to be an international student in the UK. I completed my program last year, 2022, and currently I'm a skilled worker practicing social work in the UK. I completed my program before I switched to a skilled worker visa. So although this rule wasn't in existence then, yet I still switched to skilled worker visa and I had no need to use the post-study visa. I've heard some people say that one of the reasons why UK government introduced this or stopping students from switching to skilled worker visa before the completion of their program is because they want students to use the 2 years post-study visa because that visa is expensive, so they need the money. We know that currently UK government, they have openly said it, that they want to increase IHS fee, that's immigration health surcharge. They want to increase visa fees. They are increasing everything so that they can actually raise money because probably they need money. Yeah. So some people think that in an attempt to do that, they also want to do this so that students will not be able to switch to skilled worker visa, and then they will have to use the post-study work visa, pay for that, giving government money. Okay, but that's actually not true. Well, it can happen, but I'm telling you that you can still switch to a skilled worker visa even after completing your program, and you don't necessarily need to go through the 2 years post-study visa route. I have always been an advocate of getting a skilled worker visa as against using the 2 years post-study visa for so many reasons. For one is that the 2 years post-study visa is a longer route to indefinite leave to remain in the country. It's a longer route to settlement. Whereas if you just switch from student visa to skilled worker visa, it starts counting immediately. Now to the business of the day, how can you switch? If you have this right mentality, if you have this right mindset, and that's why you love that you are watching this video, I bet you that you will not be worried about this news by the UK government, because like I said, I switched to a skilled worker visa after I completed my program. First things first, when is the end of your program? Yeah, when is the end of your program? Most courses in the UK start in September, sometimes first week or second week in September. Let's take for instance that the start date for your program is 5th of September. Yeah, and of course it's a 1-year program. What most times what you will see is that you start on 5th of September 2022, for instance, and you will be ending your program in September 2023. That's your start and your end date. So with this announcement, you need to understand that what they are saying is that the earliest you can switch to a skilled worker visa is September 6th, 2023. I hope that is clear. Prior to this recent news, the earliest you can actually switch to a skilled worker visa in the UK from a student visa, if your end date is September 5th, 2023, is June 6th, 2023. So you have 3 months period. You can actually switch to a skilled worker visa or any other visa at least 3 months to the end of your program. But the government has now changed it to say that you cannot change or you cannot switch until the end of your program. Some people are panicking about this, but if you understand what I'm going to explain in this video, you have no reason to worry. Rather, you will be proactive in doing the right things so that you will switch to this visa without even using the 2 years post-study visa or having to go back to your country in case that is not your wish. Still using the example 5th of September, which I will use all through this video, okay? So it has been established that the earliest that you can switch is September 6th, 2023. That does not mean that you cannot get a job in the UK with a licensed sponsor before September 5th or before September 6th, 2023. You need to understand this. I've always encouraged students, if you wish to switch to a skilled worker visa, the key is for you to start on time. If you are coming in for September 2003 or depending on when you'll be watching this video, one thing is key. When you come into the UK, my usual advice is, depending on the course of study, if your study, like if the course you are studying is not on the shortage occupation list, one thing you need to do is to get a permanent job. If you're happy to work in the health and social care sector, you're happy to work as a carer, healthcare assistant, as a support worker, at least for now, we know that the health and care visa is still in place. We don't know when they will stop it, but as when I'm filming this video, it's still in place, all right, and it's still in the shortage occupation list. So with that in mind, if you come into the country, say you come in September 2023 with the aim of remaining in the country after your studies, and of course you don't want to use the 2 years post-study visa, you would like to switch straight up to skilled worker visa after your studies, one thing that you need to do is to try as much as possible to get a permanent job. You may not understand, but here in this country, you can actually have a permanent job or you can work with an agency. Agency jobs are more like non-contract, okay? They give you jobs. You are not bound by any contract. You choose when you work for them. They choose when you work for them. So there has to be an agreement. But if you're a permanent staff, you are there. It's a contract. You have a number of hours you will work. As a student, you are only permitted to work 20 hours per week. So that is it. So I will always advise you to try and get a permanent job. At least that is a start. And if you are lucky to get a permanent job in a care home or with any company that have the license to sponsor visa, then you are luckier, yeah? Because as the time progresses towards the end of your study, because they have known you, they have worked well with you, and if they enjoy your services, they would like to retain you further, and they will be glad to offer you sponsorship, thereby making it easier for you to switch to a skilled worker visa. That will be my first advice. Secondly, regardless of where you are working or anything, but you actually want to switch to a skilled worker visa, you don't have to wait until September or until the end of your program before you get a job. Don't wait till September for you to start looking for jobs so that you can now switch. all you can do is that as early as March, April, please start looking for job. And I would say within 3 months, maybe by June, try as much as possible that by June you already have a job. So if you did interview, for instance, let me use my profession, like social work is under the shortage occupation list and social workers are in high demand. Okay, so I will advise, if you are looking for job, for instance, you want to work with a local authority, start applying as early as maybe April, May. Most times when you apply for jobs in this country, you find out that it takes some time before they can invite you for interview. There is no time. It depends on the employer. Okay, it depends on how they work. Some of them usually take 1 month or less or more than that before they invite you for interview. So if your program ends in September, I will advise once it gets to end of April, beginning of May, please start applying. And when you are applying in May, that means that before May, you should already start making inquiries or doing job search so that you can build your CV. If it involves writing a cover letter or anything, you have started doing that already. So all you need to do is to start on time to make your research, and latest by May, can you put up your application? Yeah, put up your application, apply for that job already by May. We are using September, remember, as an example. When you apply in May, chances are that maybe towards the end of May, depending on the employer, or by June, they will call you for interview. If you are called for interview in June and then you succeed in the interview, they'll give you your offer letter. Of course, it might be a conditional offer, okay, pending some other things. Yeah, so if during that interview, of course, you tell them that your program ends in September and this interview is taking place in June, believe me, some employers, if not most of them, they take time to process HR, getting your references back. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 months before you can actually confirm your start date. People in the UK can testify of that. It's usually a long process, and that's why you need to start on time. So if you come for an interview in June and you pass your interview, congratulations, they give you your offer letter, which will be, like I said, probably a conditional one, and your program finishes in September. Yeah, all you need to do is during that interview to tell them that you finish your program in September. It's not only international students, even citizens of this country, they apply early for jobs with hope that once they finish their program in September, of course, they don't need visa, they start immediately. So it's not peculiar to international students. So employers, they are aware that once it's within 3 months to the end of your program and you get this job, they know the processes it takes to get maybe your reference from your referees. They know the process it takes to process so many things before your start date, so they will gladly give you that job offer. So 2-3 months to the end of your program, so we are talking about June, July, even August, is a good time for you to attend an interview and pass, and they will start the processing of your job. And mind you, being an international student, why I advise you start as early as June, July, I'm not wait till August or September, is that it usually takes time for them to process your employment, and afterwards the next thing will be applying for your COS. Sometimes you can get some HR, especially during this August, September, guys. You need to be careful because that's when people go on vacation, holiday. Maybe the HR or whoever is dealing with you, maybe you sent an email, you found out that this person is on 2 weeks annual leave and is not available. You need to factor this in, and that's why you need to start on time. Okay, so don't wait till the end. So if you get that job June, July, it will take them August and maybe till September for them to confirm, your appointment and confirm your start date. Your start date can be after September, and even in the process during all of those times, say you got the job in June, by July they have processed everything, then they are starting to get your COS. Mind you, when they get your COS, you have 3 months to apply for visa. So an employer that gives you a job in July, for instance, or gives you a job in August, and then they get your COS in July, August, you have still 3 months before you can apply. And that means that by September 6th, once you are finishing your program, you are switching immediately. You apply for your visa. You see that this is not bad news. It doesn't hold you back in any way. But if you don't have this basic knowledge, I think that's when you'll be thinking that, okay, they want us to use the post-study work visa. They want us to give them money. They want us to pay for this expensive visa that doesn't even count, because one of the reasons why people don't like the post-study visa, especially me, I'm not a fan of it, is the fact that it's a longer route to settlement. I'm sure you understand that. So people don't like it, and I don't advocate for that. So as much as possible, try to switch. Try getting job early enough. Have your COS. Okay, you can have your COS in August. You can have it in July. Once it's September, just apply for your visa immediately, and you can easily switch. And you find out that before the end of your student visa, you have still switched. So it's clear that the government is not saying that until the end of your student visa, you cannot switch to a skilled worker visa. Yeah, many people misinterpreted it like this. That's not what it is saying. It's not saying that your student visa has to expire before you switch. It's only saying that you have to finish your program and you need to mark your end date. If you came in September 5th, this year, the following year, September 5th, your program will end. Then from 6th of September, you are free to apply, and you still have 3 months before your student visa ends. So never give up. Don't see this as a bad news. Rather, take it as a measure to enable you to become proactive in job search so that you can easily switch from a student visa to a skilled worker visa or any other visa category of your choice. And with this, guys, I have come to the end of this video. I want to believe you liked it. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Share this video with as many people that you think might need it. And I'll be seeing you in my next one. Until then, stay blessed, remain intentional, and take good care of yourselves. Bye.